You are listening to the Fear Film Studios Podcast Network.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Horror Vein. I'm Robert Massetti.
I'm Don Fisher.
Ooh, and we're using new equipment today.
We are, and Rob's very, very proud of his new toy, so if we sound a lot better, that's why.
Yes. It better sound better.
That's right. That's right.
And
we made an upgrade, but anyway.
So this is Horror Vein. We are the pulse of horror. Don Fisher calling all the way in from the Windy City.
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes. 61 today. Not
61.
bad.
Holy cow.
I'll take it.
That's a heat wave.
It is, especially when it gets to like 35 at night. It's unbelievable. It's like, what the fuck? Frost warnings. And it's like, okay.
Jeez.
But that's Chicago. That's Chicago. If you don't like the weather, wait a minute. It'll change. Yeah, that's how it goes. So, yeah, that's exactly how it goes. So,
and I'm broadcasting from sunny Orlando, Florida, which was about a balmy 85 today.
Oh, you suck.
Just a balmy. I like saying
very
balmy.
Yes. I'm very envious, but that's all right. We'll get there. It'll just take a couple months, but I'll get there.
There you go.
So, anyway.
All right. So, this is another special edition this week, and we're going to be talking about the movie Halloween.
Yes, and there are many Halloweens, but this is the best one in my opinion. Yes, 78. Carpenter's Halloween, the very first one, and it's the best one.
Just playing with the toys, Don.
I know you. We lost Rob, people. He'll be back in a minute.
Just playing with the toys here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna have to wrangle you in here from time to time. I can already see that. That's okay. Boys and their toys, right?
Oh, Don Fisher, ladies and gentlemen. In the house.
Oh my God. Oh, yep.
Are you ready to talk horror?
Get out of the water. That's another one we could do. That's a great film.
Oh. Jaws. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah.
All right, so we'll start off this edition with a little bit of news that's been happening this week.
Sure.
The first one that I want to talk about is this movie called Unhinged that's coming out supposedly July 1st.
Yes.
Stars Russell Crowe.
Yeah, and I just saw, it came up on my news feed. But I didn't even watch the trailer. I don't know. But it looks good.
The trailer's kind of weird, and the movie seems kind of weird. Basically about road rage, but Russell Crowe's character is having, a really bad day, and this woman comes up behind him. He's blocking, the road, just sitting there in his car, and she starts honking at him, and this triggers a whole bunch of events where he's trying to make her pay for that. So it's kind of a weird premise, but
it's kind of like Falling Down-esque.
Yeah,
maybe?
But I don't know.
A little bit.
It's weird. You have to check out the trailer. It's on the Horror Vein Facebook page. So if you want to check it out,
I will do that.
But this is supposedly going to be the first movie that's going to be coming back into the theaters on July 1st. A lot of the other big movies have canceled. That's if everything, works out the way it's supposed to. So
yeah. Quiet Place is still coming. The part 2 is still going to be September. I heard. I don't think they're bumping that up at all.
Well, that's what happened is that Unhinged was supposed to come out in September that same day.
Oh.
As Quiet Place, and they went, oh, no, we don't want to compete with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't compete with that one.
So they had the slot was open, and they said, well, we're going to take this slot and see what happens. So this will be the experiment if it actually happens. So we'll see.
Interesting choice, Russell Crowe.
Yeah. Doesn't it? That's why I was like looking at the trailer going, what?
Yeah. I just don't picture him in a thriller, but okay.
Yeah, and he's the bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, he does all these big blockbuster films, Gladiator and all these other big films.
What's this all about? Is he having a hard time trying to find a job or something? I don't know. I like him. He's good. But yeah, when I saw him, I'm like, why is he playing this, like, asshole?
And as soon as I saw it, and like I said, I didn't even click on the trailer, but I saw the picture, and, you could play the trailer. I didn't yet, but I'm like, is that Russell Crowe? Oh, it is. I'm like, okay, interesting. In a horror film.
In a horror
thriller.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess
whatever.
However you want to look at it. But,
it's more of a thriller. It's more.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know. They have this one shot where he knocks this police car. The car does a 360 and pulls off to the side of the road, and this car goes right over it, killing the police officer. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting movie for Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Maybe he's going to start doing horror films. Maybe I can give him a call.
Maybe you could.
Russell, I want you in my next movie. What do you think?
I got this film festival.
I got this film festival. It's really cool, man. Check it out. Come. You can make it.
Better yet, I got a podcast.
When
are you available?
Everybody's going to stop listening. They're like, if I hear that drum thing one more time, I'm never listening to this podcast.
But you're so happy with your new toy, Rob. It's tough.
I'm just going to promise everybody.
I need child safety locks on your on your rim shot button. Oh my! Where are the parental controls? Oh Jesus! Oh God!
I bet the people at Zoom are going, "Hey, look at that thing! That stuff works now. Look it,
right?
It's pretty cool, man."
Yeah. So it's for Zoom, like a Zoom type meeting?
No.
Type?
That's the brand name is Zoom. It has nothing to do with
nothing
Zoom.
to do with the. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Although you can use it on that.
I bet you could. That is liven up your little Zoom session.
Yeah, I can plug it into the computer and do all this stuff.
No.
It's pretty cool.
There you go.
So I recommend buying this thing. It's really cool if you're a podcaster. So
yes. So anyway, so that's coming out in July.
Yeah, and supposedly there's a spin-off of American Horror Story. I don't know if you watched that show or not.
No, and I'm told I would love it. I just haven't. I don't
know. There's been season because every season's different and it's kind of unique. Like the first season is fantastic. Second season, it's okay. Because they have different things. Like one was Freak Show, and another was, I don't know, like about witches and.
So is it like Creep Show, or no?
No, it's like the whole season is one long story, and they have the same actors playing, each season, but it's a different like scenario. Where like the first season was about ghosts in a haunted house, and then they had this one called Freak Show where it was at a circus and all these people are freaks themselves and I don't know, it's good, but I don't know, that's just me. It's not great, but
now how many seasons are there?
There's a lot.
Oh wow.
They just came out with a new one where it's like the apocalypse where like these like A-bombs went off and then everyone's scrambling to, try to find, where they should go and all this other stuff. It was interesting, and then it just kind of, like, lost me after that. But
okay.
So anyway, they're doing, like, a spin-off, supposedly, of American Horror Story. It's going to be called American Horror Stories.
Oh.
And it's going to be another anthology type thing.
Okay.
If anybody's
All
a
right.
fan, they can expect that.
And that's coming out later this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're developing the Stephen King novel Revival. And it's the same people that brought you Dr. Sleep. So it's the same filmmakers.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be interesting. I haven't read the novel. Don't really know anything about the storyline. But if it's the filmmakers from Dr. Sleep, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. I love Dr. Sleep. That was really good.
Yes.
I know we've touched on that already, but that was really good. Yeah. I like that.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. And I like, what's Ewan McGregor? I thought everybody was great. Yeah. It was really good. So.
And then the only thing that really came out on Blu-ray for horror was Fantasy Island. It's they have both versions, the theatrical and the uncut version.
Yeah. Did you see it, Rob?
I did not. Did you?
I did.
What'd you think?
Diana really wanted to see. My wife, Diana. It was okay. It was entertaining. It was
just okay.
Yeah. I'm a hard sell. So, and I'm not trying to act all, pompous.
It didn't look that good. That's why I wasn't interested in seeing it. So.
I mean, it started out great and the premise was good, and it's just part of.
Did it have tattoo in it?
Yeah, and
did.
it's like, and then
plane.
Mr. Rourke, and it's like, it's
But
just
it's a
hard
horror
to
film, though,
separate
right?
the TV show, you know what I mean, to this horror movie, because the TV show was not. But yet you're using the same character names, and it's the same premise, but then they get there and they're living out their fantasies, but then the fantasies go awry, and then you find out that their stories are intertwined and somewhat connected, and I don't know, and then it just kind of got goofy at the end and just a little too far-fetched for me I don't know, I just kind of like reminded me of Hereditary a little bit, like you had me and then, oh my God, it just, no, man,
I knew Hereditary was going to come up.
And I know a lot of people love that movie and rave. Oh no, it's a deep meaning, and it's fine. Everybody's different. If you enjoyed it, great. It lost me when the little girl lost her head.
Honest,
in the car
you just say,
on the
"Hey,
way
man,
home.
movies fucking sucks, dude."
It lost me, and I was just not a fan of it. Anyway, so this one was very similar, and it had its moments, but it was like, okay, I walked out going, oh, it's okay. It's all right. It was entertaining. It was nothing, nothing like some of the stuff I've seen on Netflix. There's some gems on there, and I know I've said, I sound like a broken record, but
you do.
For me, there's just such a difference. Yeah, there's just such a difference. It's like, so anyway, if you want to, if it's, cheap on, a streaming service and you're entertained, and there's nothing else to watch and you want, check it out, but it wouldn't be my first choice.
Come on, just give an honest review. Just say it sucks.
Yeah, it sucked. Anyway. I'm too nice, Rob. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop being
People
so
don't
nice.
want a nice review. They want to know, it's like, do you recommend it or not?
I just
can't
don't.
get the middle ground, Don.
I can't. I can't have a lot of gray area.
No gray area. It's like,
I'm a benefit of the doubt type of guy. I'm a second chance. Give him a shot.
No, I get it, but bottom line is you gotta go. Nah, it sucked.
No. Watch Hush. Watch He's Out There. Watch.
I stand behind those movies, but not this one.
Yeah. Watch The Strangers. Both of those. Yeah. Put this. if it's on your list, make sure it's way far down.
If it's on your list,
so,
you can be there.
It's coming out on Blu-ray, so.
Hey, I could start singing like a theme song now for the show. It'd be cool, man.
You could.
Horror Vein, we love you, Horror Vein.
We'll have to write the rest of it later. Yeah, I know.
Don't give me toys, folks, because I play with them.
See what happens? You start singing, you start playing around with these buttons, and I know, it comes off the rails. So that's okay. Anyway, so
dropping stuff, dude.
Uh-oh.
Holy cow. Oh. Okay.
So, I think that's all the news.
That's all the news. Oh, thanks for getting us back on track, Don.
That's it. That's my job. That's especially when you get a new toy. I definitely got to get the lasso out. Oh my God.
Well,
you're out in the street somewhere. Come back, Rob.
Put a leash on him, will you? Put a leash.
That's right.
Well, let's take a little break and pay the bills here.
Sure.
And we'll be back with more Horror Vein with Robert Bassetti.
All right.
And Don Fisher. What happened to Don? What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, we had this down, man.
I know. All right.
I'm sorry. I got you all flustered, man.
Let's try it again.
Go ahead.
We'll be back with more Horror Vein
with Robert Bassetti
and Don Fisher.
Okay, there we go. Take two. And Don Fisher. We'll be right back.
You are listening to the Fear Film Studios Podcast Network.
Hello, kitties. It's your old pal, Freako the Clown. Here to tell all you filmmakers out there that if you have a film that you want to submit to the best horror genre film festival in the world, then submit it now. The Freak Show Horror Film Festival is taking short films, super short films, and feature-length horror films. If you need more information, just go to our website at freakshowfilmfest.com, click on the submit button, and you'll get all the information that you need. That's freakshowhorrorfilmfest.com. And while you're there, tell them Freaking a Clown sent you.
All right, and we're back with Horror Vein with Robert Bassetti.
And Don Fisher.
You got it.
I did.
Don Fisher's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. And we're back with more Horror Vein. See, that's how I should have came back. More excited like that.
I know, you should have.
This is going to get old, isn't it?
I know. It's like fun for us. But people are like, okay, are we done with that now?
What is going on with these guys, man? I thought this was like...
I want to hear about Halloween, damn it.
I thought this was about horror films, man. These guys are funny. No, we're not funny.
Right?
Are we funny? Funny looking.
I like to think so. I hope people find us funny.
I don't know.
We'll work harder at it if we're not.
We're trying.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Just give us a chance.
So, this special edition of Horror Vein, we're talking about the classic 1978 film directed by John Carpenter, entitled
Halloween. Yes, the best one. I absolutely love it. Oh,
wow, what can we say about this film? So, I'll give a little bit of background on it. Halloween is a 1978 American slasher film directed and scored by John Carpenter, co-written and produced by Deborah Hill. And starring Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis in her film debut.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Filmed in Southern California.
And
they were trying to make it look like Illinois. So every time I watch this movie, I'm like, this is not Illinois, dude. I grew up there. Do not see.
I know.
And it's funny because when you get to the Michael Myers house, there's a big, huge trunk of a palm tree right in the front yard.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
God.
If you look again, if you watch the movie, when you get to the house where Michael Myers lives, you'll see it right there. You can't miss it. I mean,
and I think, and I know that it was supposed to be in the fall, and it wasn't when they filmed, and they had to make the leaves.
It's Southern California. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. There was no fall.
The one scene where the one boy's got the pumpkin at the beginning, and he's sitting there in the corner, and they go across the street. If you look way down, At the end of the street, you see palm trees. But
Oh, that's crazy.
that's funny.
I'll have to look. I'll look for it next time. I'm sure you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, that's that's if I've seen the movie so many times. This was just kind of fun.
So then I know you're right. So you're absolutely right. Yeah.
It was just,
I shouldn't question you. I know.
I mean, this movie for me was very impactful. It's a staple. Every Halloween, I have to watch this movie.
Oh, I do too. Every year.
Yeah.
Yep. That and the Charlie Brown Christmas. There you go. I'm sorry, Charlie Brown Halloween.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what does Charlie Brown Christmas have to do with Halloween? Jesus.
No. Oh,
fuck,
my God.
dude.
It's been a long day. Charlie Brown Halloween. Great Pumpkin. I watched that and the first Halloween. Yes. I do. Every year.
It's a staple.
It is.
Now part of it is Trick or Treat, which I really love. And we could talk about that in another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
Halloween's always been there.
And I even set out a speaker and for trick or treaters, and I play the score. I play the soundtrack.
You go out, dude.
Yeah, I love it. I love this film. It's really, really good.
So the film had a $300,000 budget. This is not John Carpenter's first film, as a lot of people think it is. He had made a film called Assault on Precinct 13, which is a really good movie. I don't know if anyone has not seen that movie. And the movie, let's see here, was filmed in 20 days over a 4-week period in May 1978.
Yeah.
And much of it was used, they used a Steadicam, which was at the time something new.
Yeah, it was cutting edge at that time.
So, I mean, like the beginning shot is all one shot with the Steadicam. It's all one
shot, and they talk about that, and what an incredible shot that is.
What an incredible shot.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
So, if you watch the film again, pay attention to the opening shot. It's all, you'll see there's no cuts.
There's no cut.
It's incredible. No.
And what's funny is when they get into the house and the drawer opens up and he pulls out the knife, that's the producer, Deborah Hill. That's her arm.
That's her hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Her arm and hand, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that too.
So the thing was that there was on such a low budget that as they're moving the camera, they had to take lights and move it to the next area where the camera's going to be. So they would go through that area, and then the people in the background are taking the lights and moving them over here and going, okay, we're ready. Yep. And then, because they go from the front of the house to the back of the house, through the house, up the stairs to the room, and then she gets killed. Yep. And then they had to turn the camera around, go down the stairs, and out the front door. So everything had to be planned. I don't know how many times they did that, but
oh my God,
wow,
incredible. Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah.
So, so before we get into it, so let me ask you, like I did with Night of the Living Dead.
Sure.
Do you remember the first time you saw the film?
Boy, I want to say it was probably similar to Night of the Living Dead when I was living with my roommate Carl, and he introduced me to all these horror films, and I wasn't a big horror buff before that, and he just opened up my world to all these wonderful films, and so I probably in the 90s. I'm sure of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably mid 90s. Yeah, I don't think I saw it earlier than that. No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think he just showed me that one and Texas Chainsaw and Night and all these other great films.
So did the film have like the same impact like it did with you with Night of the Living Dead?
It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. Yeah, it's just so well done. And once again, not a lot of gore, not a lot of...
There's only one scene in the film where you see blood, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And that's in the car, and it splashes onto the
windshield. Yeah.
And you can hardly see that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just... And again, we're probably going to, this is going to sound very similar to when, we were talking about Night, but you don't need that. Sometimes you just less is more, and it's just more about story and characters and development and the way it was shot and just the score. And it's just, and, like, again, hardly a very low budget. They shot it in a month.
Yeah.
Some of these people, like for Night, I think it was Judith O'Dea's first role. This was Jamie Lee's first role. She was so excited when she got the call. She couldn't believe it. I've seen documentaries on the film. And PJ Souls, probably one of her earliest roles.
Yes.
You'll know PJ Souls in Stripes, and she's been in a lot of other stuff.
Did you know that originally Donald Pleasance wasn't part of the film? They were trying to get I forget his name.
I think you're right. Yeah, they were trying to get somebody else, and then they ended up with Donald Pleasance. Yeah, and I can't imagine anybody else doing that part.
Oh, they originally wanted Peter Cushing.
Okay.
And then he, of course, did Star Wars before it. Yeah. And they only could pay $20,000 for it, and he went, "Oh, that's not enough money. Sorry, we'll pass." Right. So he went and he approached Christopher Lee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Christopher Lee. He really wanted him. He turned it down.
Wow.
And then later on, he said that was one of his biggest mistakes he did during his career.
Biggest regrets, yeah. Wow. Oh, I bet.
Christopher Lee said that.
Yeah, I bet. It's such a great... Oh. But I love Donald Pleasance.
But they got Donald Pleasance, and
he's just wonderful.
He's awesome in it, yeah.
Oh, my God. There's so much about this film. I mean, where do you even begin?
And Donald Pleasance only took the role because his daughter Lucy was a guitarist, and she enjoyed the score for Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh my God!
You believe that?
Wow! Wow!
And I bet you she really liked the score for Halloween.
Oh, who doesn't? It's iconic. It's just you hear that, you immediately know what it is.
And it goes again, like that score. If you talk to the musicians, they're like, "That's so simple."
Yeah, it's 4/4 time. I think is what Carpenter said. Yeah, but it's so effective.
It is, isn't it?
And then all the other instruments and all the other sounds that they layer into that. Boom, boom. And then it's it just drives the movie. It adds to the tension and the suspense and the uneasiness about the film. It just keeps you on your, on the edge of your seat. It's just, I don't know. It's just, and they don't explain Michael. They do, but again, he was locked up for all these years, and but so
I know when Rob Zombie did the remake, he took Michael and made him more of a human. You know? I think it took away from what the original film, Michael turns into the personification of evil.
Right.
And I think that's a little bit more frightening than what they did in Rob Zombie's film.
Well, I think in the zombie films, he's just this big, strong, wasn't it? I can't remember who they got.
I didn't really want to see him because I was like, come on, you're remaking this classic.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was all right, but I just thought he could have done, just, I don't know, leave Halloween alone. But he didn't, and I like Zombie, but... Yeah. It was just, to me, it was just some big, strong guy, like some 6'5", muscle bound,
really strong guy.
Yeah, with a mask. It's like, no, I like the mysteriousness and the, Nick Castle played the Shape in the original, and then I loved when he came back for this latest one.
Oh yeah, I had the pleasure
of
meeting Mr. Nick Castle. Really, what a great guy.
Really nice. I've not met him. I'd love to meet him. That's awesome.
Oh, I got this picture of Michael Myers, and he signed it, and it's my pride and joy on my wall.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And it was just that he was like just a friend of Carpenter's or something like that, and had him put on the mask and just kind of, I don't know if he gave him a lot of direction.
John Carpenter said that he had the creep. He just, the way he walked was creepy, and he was like,
he's got incredible.
He's got to be the Shape.
Yeah,
and that's what he was. That was his character name, the Shape. He was not a human being.
Right.
And the film, originally they were asked to make the film, about babysitting.
Like
and
the
Deborah
babysitter
Hill
killer or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the babysitter murders or something like that.
Murders or something. Yeah.
And Deborah Hill, she used to babysit a lot, so she took a lot of her experiences and put it into the screenplay. And then I guess the investor Mustafa Akkad, he changed the name to Halloween and wanted it centered around the holiday, and that's what changed everything. So
yeah.
But they still kept the babysitter stuff in the screenplay.
Yep.
And then just centered it during Halloween. It really makes everything work, I think.
Oh, just great. I just, when you consider the budget, like I said, and just they shot it in a month, they had no money, and I mean, it just, like, again, it reminds me of Night. It's like this family that comes together that wants to make a good movie, a really good movie, and they're all in it to win it. And, you can just tell. And I know it's the first one, and, maybe I'm a little biased that way. Part 2 was pretty good in the hospital. I like that.
Actually, as a sequel, it's not as good as the first one, but it was pretty good. I liked that it was a continuation of the first one.
Right where it left off.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not done as well because it's not Carpenter directing, but it still was a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
But the film it grossed $47 million in the United States.
Wow.
And did an additional $23 million internationally. This is 1978.
Wow.
So it made a total of $70 million worldwide.
Wow. And people just love it to this day, and I know, and that there's good reason for that.
Making it one of the most successful independent films of all time.
Oh, bar none, man.
Yeah,
bar none. Oh yeah, I mean,
and launched Jamie Lee Curtis's career.
It did, sure did.
And the best thing about Jamie Lee Curtis, who's not only the daughter of Janet Leigh from Psycho, she, to this day, is always proud of being a part of Halloween.
Oh, she is.
It's
really
not like other actresses where they're like, oh, I did this horror film early in my career, and I'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah, I heard Susan Sarandon's not a fan of, she doesn't want to talk about Rocky Horror.
Yeah, yeah.
She's ashamed of it or something, and I don't know.
There's a lot of actors that started in really crappy horror films.
I heard.
The thing is that Halloween is not a crappy horror film.
No, nothing to be embarrassed about that one, boy. Yeah. That just, and I mean, I met PJ. I met
PJ too. She's great.
And then the other actress, what's her name? Oh, I can't remember her name.
The other girl?
The other friend, yeah. I met her.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember her name either.
And I got a photo.
But I know who you're talking about.
And I got a photo of all three of them, and then I met those two. I haven't met Jamie Lee, but
no,
I can't think of her name. But she was good.
Oh,
they were all great.
Is it Nancy Keys? Is that who you're talking about? Nancy Loomis?
Nancy Loomis. But is that her real name?
But her real name was Nancy Keys. Is that it?
Okay, maybe that's it. Yeah. I can't remember. But anyway, I met her. I met those two, and I haven't met Jamie Lee. And then Donald passed away.
That was the only person I haven't met. Well, I met John Carpenter, and I got a little funny story about John Carpenter. I run Freak Show Horror Film Festival, and we gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award. So I met him, and I was like, I was so nervous, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, this guy is a big influence, and I've seen all his films. I love his work. And here I am having the opportunity to actually meet my idol. So I was a blubbering idiot, okay?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
But the thing about John Carpenter, when he looks at you, you don't know what he's thinking. He looks at you like you're, I don't know.
Okay.
So I was already like nervous to meet him, and then when he looks at you, it's like, okay, what do you want me to do, or what are you looking at me for? That type of look. So, but anyway, he wasn't. When I met him, he wasn't feeling too well. He was having some problems and we won't get into that. But
Okay.
so he was late for a plane, and so we gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award, but he had to leave right away, so he didn't make a long speech. And so my meeting was really short, but I don't know. He's a really nice gentleman. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was me because I was a blubbering idiot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I got to meet him.
I love your movies.
And this guy's going, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I know.
He's a psycho.
Yes, that's kind of how I was when I met the cast of Night. Some of the cast, I was just in awe.
I'm sure he gets it all the time, but
yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And
I
everybody
probably
was so
did the same thing if I met Steven Spielberg. I'd do the same thing, but
sure.
or Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
Always want to meet Alfred Hitchcock, but that's too.
I know.
So
well,
anyway,
at least you got to meet him.
I got to meet him, so that was cool. That was awesome.
So very cool.
But the film, right off the bat with the opening with the long take and the steady cam. Oh yeah. Really just kind of grabs you, and you're like, what the hell? And I don't know the score.
The score is just huge.
The acting's really good. It's not like any cheese acting for a horror film.
No.
And let me tell you, 1978, that came out. You had films like, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So, the slasher movies were just coming into fruition there.
Yeah.
And, Halloween came out. So, when it first came out, it wasn't, received well. It didn't get a large audience, but, word of mouth started growing. I remember I didn't see it right when it came out. I saw it later on, early 80s, because everyone was talking about it. And I'm like, I don't want to see this movie, blah, blah. It's a slasher movie. I don't want to see blood and gore, blah, blah, blah.
All right.
And then fell in love with it. Just fell in love with the film. As soon as
I just like the fact that, a lot of times, a lot of people think the more gore, the more scarier, the film is, or the more graphic it is. That's not the case. It's just not the case. I'm more about mystery and suspense and, just the way it's shot and the story and just, the way you're setting up, and even the suspense and
even the ending, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Oh, the ending's amazing.
Maybe even unbelievable ending, but I just love after he, unloads his 44 Magnum into him, and he's fallen.
He falls off the balcony,
and the thing is about Loomis, his character, he knew what he was dealing with, and he was not surprised when he looked out and saw that he was gone.
No, I think in one of the documentaries I watched, there was 3 or many ways he could have, because they do a final shot on him after they show Michael's gone.
Right.
And he said, I could have played it all right, I knew this was going to happen. I could have played it I'm surprised that this happened, that he's not there. Or I think there was a couple other things that, how he could have played it.
But Jamie Lee Curtis goes, is that the boogeyman, or was that the boogeyman?
Yeah.
And
as a matter of fact, it was.
Yeah. I love that.
I know. I do too.
There's one scene in the film. It's every time I watch the film, it always gets me. When she runs, is trying to run and trying to get into the house, and the door's locked, and she's calling to the kid, open up the door.
Tommy.
Yeah. And Michael's coming across the street. He's not running.
Oh, it's just great.
He's not running. He's just walking.
I know.
At a fairly fast pace, but he's moving.
I know.
It's just that the way everything's lit, and you see him in the light, and then he goes into the dark, and cutting back and forth, and little kid's doesn't know that there's any danger.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
he's rubbing his eyes, what's going on? Come on,
he's just
what are you yelling about?
Open up the door, damn it!
Yeah.
I love that scene. I love that.
I like when she's on the balcony and then they bring up the little blue light and then it comes up and the light lights up his mask and all you see is his mask. Oh yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. And a lot of, if you listen to the score complements the scenes or vice versa, however you want to look at it. But you hear the you know, the little things they do in the score.
And then
just adds
it'd be
to
like a pause and you hear this little bell like ding ding ding.
Oh yeah.
Ding.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just the score is brilliant. I mean, it complements the movie so well, and it just drives it, and it adds so much to it, as we've talked about. You know how scores can do that. Yeah,
and then of course the one scene where the guy gets knifed, you know, and is stuck to the door.
Oh yeah, that's famous. That's famous.
And then Michael just looks back and he just turns his head, you know, looking at him, and it's like
marvels his handiwork. Yeah,
I'm like, that's wild. That's wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and just like the little things of him just popping up, and you know when the one girl goes out to the little house to wash her clothes, and you see him walk like standing in the background, and he's not there. Just little things, you know,
stuff like that. Yeah,
I love that.
Oh yeah, oh it's absolutely it's so well done.
And then they were trying to incorporate a lot of the legends with, you know, the holiday, Halloween.
Yeah.
And in the boogeyman being associated with it, and he's pretty much that. And I don't know, man. It's just.
I know. It's so well done. So it's hard to even. It's
really hard to imagine. Here's a group of people again, but you know, John Carpenter, you know, made Assault on Precinct 13, which was a you know, pretty big movie. And then he's got this budget of $300,000, and then to make this horror film, I don't know, man. To me, it's just amazing that he can take some new technology as an independent filmmaker with the Steadicam and really make it work to his advantage to tell the story. Mm-hmm. And look what he did. Just amazing. And just the lighting, the camera work, the acting, even though it's like Donald Pleasance in parts is kind of a little cheesy, but it works with his character.
Right.
You know, he's just that type of person. You know, he's just
and they talk about that at night, and not to, you know, backtrack, but if a movie is done so well, you know, you'll see Ben, you know, hit Mr. Cooper, but clearly he clearly misses him, and you can totally see it in some of the shots. You don't care. You just don't care because you're that engrossed in this film, and it's so well done, and it just has you, you know, entrenched in this film that it just you're forgiving in that way. You know, it just it doesn't bother me. Whereas other films that would really bother me. But if it's really well done and you've got me and I'm hooked, you know, and I'm just waiting for the next scene and I just can't wait to see what, you know, and I'm just it's a true thriller and then I don't mind as much. I don't mind a cheesy line here or there. I don't mind a mishit or you know, that clearly, oh boy, that, you know.
I mean, and it's still, you know, it lives up to today's standards. I mean,
yeah, it does.
And what's really cool is that they incorporate Forbidden Planet in The Thing.
Oh yeah, when they're watching on TV.
And then eventually John Carpenter goes and remakes The Thing and creates another classic.
Oh, which is phenomenal film.
Which is probably one of the best remakes ever made.
Oh,
unbelievable film. And one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And that's another podcast. But
yeah. I mean, what they're watching on TV. I love it. It's great. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, Rob, you know, a lot of people can relate. You know, Halloween, babysitter, pumpkins, carving the pumpkin, you know, making popcorn, watching a scary movie, you know, late at night. I mean, it's just so believable in that way because people can relate to that. It's not some far-fetched, not that, science fiction and all that has its place. I'm not saying that. But, I mean, when you bring it into, bring it home like that, like, wow, I remember when my sister babysitted me, I have an older sister.
Yeah.
I remember she was babysitting me, and I remember my parents were out, and, it could be Halloween, and this could totally what I mean? This is so real. I mean, it could really and now you got this crazy man. I mean, and I don't know. It's just, I think that added to it. I really do. I mean, I think that's what they were going for too.
And then
let's make something.
You're watching like a horror film that your parents probably wouldn't approve of, and that type of stuff,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when my parents would go out or whatever, my sister and I would watch probably, things R-rated movie, whatever. Back then, which is like G-rated now.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But yeah, I mean, you could just totally relate to that. And I mean, and you have your friends and they're bugging JB Lee about, dating, she doesn't date a lot. She's a little shy and they want her to, go out with Ben Tramer and she's embarrassed about that. And then you have the one girl that smokes weed and she's the wild child. And
it's the sheriff's daughter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's these characters that are just, that you might have come across in your own life. And experiences you could have had in your own life,
absolutely.
babysitter and all that. And I mean,
your friends' parents are, at a party, and you got the whole house, and so you're gonna have a party there, and bring your girlfriend over, and you fool around and all that stuff. That's a great scene
all
too.
That.
With he's dressed up in the sheet.
In the sheet, wonderful! What a great, simple idea, but so effective.
Oh.
And took Bob's glasses. He's stuck up against the wall, and and he takes his glasses. I know. It's just. I mean, it's those little things. It doesn't have to be complex. It's the little things you can do, the little nuances, like you said. I mean, and sure, that's totally believable. I mean, he's got his glasses on. He's got this sheet. She thinks it's a joke, and then the music starts, and they're like, "Oh my God, she has no idea." It's just, and then she calls Jamie Lee.
Yeah, just calling him.
And she's on the phone with Jamie Lee, and then she starts getting choked, and Jamie Lee thinks they're having fun, and and it's like, okay, stop it. It is, I mean,
and then
stuff
and then you hear Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
Do you think they got that from there? Do you think they got it from Star Wars?
Maybe. I don't know, but I love that where Michael takes the phone. Yeah, I love that. It's just great. It's just awesome. I mean, oh my God. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's those little things that make it great.
I mean, you can't
make it great.
And that's why I'm not fond of remakes. But occasionally, once in a while, there will be a remake that's actually good with what they did with It, and that could be another podcast too. But the remake of It was really good.
Yeah, I've yet to see part 2. I saw the part 1.
It's not as good as the first one, but it's good.
Yeah,
if you like the first.
Well, I saw the new It. There's 2 parts.
Yes,
I saw the first part. I didn't see the second part.
Yeah, I own both movies.
Okay.
I would definitely recommend seeing it. It's not as good as the first one, but it's still good.
Okay. I like
the first
Pennywise.
one is really good. I mean, the guy playing Pennywise, oh my God.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's really good.
So that's another podcast, but
yeah. I gotta see part 2. Actually, I should just probably watch them both.
You should just
watch
them both
over again. Yeah,
that's good.
But yeah, I know we keep hitting on these points, but it bears repeating. I mean, it's sometimes it's the little things, and sometimes less is more, and you don't have to go balls to the wall and gore and graphic and hit you in the face. You don't have to. You just don't. And again, I prefer this type of film. I really do. And,
well, again, it's like the film's rich with different characters. Yeah, they might be basic, but they still work. If you look at the premise as a whole, it's kind of unbelievable, but how they present it and how they made it work was through filmmaking and acting and a really good screenplay.
Absolutely.
And
that's what it's all about. Like you said, Rob, you could have all the money in the world, but if your screenplay sucks, it's not going to hold up. It's just not. You could throw as much money as you want at something, and boy, are there examples out there. And then you have something like this where they had no money, and like Night where they had no money, and it doesn't have to be money.
And
you can make a good movie.
And the really interesting thing is that Mustafa Akkad was the finance person for the film.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter made it a point. He goes, if I'm going to make this movie, you got to give me free reign. I can't have somebody over my shoulder. I got to make this movie the way I got to make it.
Yeah.
And you got to have confidence in me to make you a good movie.
Right.
Wow. This guy's taking a big chance, with this filmmaker. So
because he only had the one film under his belt.
Yeah.
And so
look what happened.
I know.
I've said this before. But, you have to let the filmmaker, who's the creative spirit, the director, make his movie.
The film. I agree.
You can't sit there and go, well, this isn't going to work because we have all these people that say that it's not going to work.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
But if you change that, it could change the whole dynamic of the film.
Right.
Which you don't understand because you're not a filmmaker.
You know what it reminds me of? I know this is kind of a little, it's a departure, but it reminds me of Dave Chappelle and his show.
Yeah.
And, I know he was making a ton of money at the show, but from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, they started telling him what's funny and what would be funny and what he should do. And that's part of the reason, if not all of the reason, why he walked away from the show. And just took a huge break because Dave knows funny, and, all these people, I know they're giving him all this money and they're, financing whatever, paying for everything, but he knows funny. Dave Chappelle's funny. Now everybody has a different opinion about comedians, and I think Dave's really funny. And I think that was the big issue, is that they started trying to tell him what's funny. And he's like, no, just let me do funny. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of like what you're saying, let me do this movie. Let me do horror. Let me do suspense. You're the investor. You're the, and I appreciate that, but this is my bread and butter. You're experienced in this and other things.
That's why
this is what I do.
Me, yeah.
Yeah. This is what I do. Let me do my thing. And I know that's a risk, and I know you're rolling the dice when you do that. I understand that, but look what happens. When you try to tell somebody, that, okay, well, this, you got to do it this way. Like you don't kill Ben at the end of Night. No. And they joke about it at the beginning. At first, when they had no money, they're like, okay, we'll do whatever but they laugh. George was laughing about it. But in reality, it would not have had the impact that it had if you've Ben lived.
Yeah.
And that would have been it just would have changed everything. Well, a lot of it. And it wouldn't have been as dark. And and all that. I don't want to rehash it, but I'm just saying it's a good example of, like you just said, Rob, it would change the movie.
Right.
And it probably wouldn't have been as good. I'm sure it wouldn't have been if you start telling John Carpenter. Again, he only had the one movie under his belt. He wasn't a mega director at that time, and I understand that, but he went to film school. It's like, he knows. I think he knows a little bit more about film than you do.
Well, obviously there was a reason why they're hiring him. They saw his movie. They liked what he did.
Yeah.
So why not let him do what you thought, he could do?
Right. Right. So.
And that's what all I'm saying is that I understand the business aspect of filmmaking. I understand why Hollywood keeps making remakes and sequels. I understand it. They're in the business.
Money.
They're in business. It's a business,
right,
and I understand.
Right.
And they're trying to reduce the risk.
The risk, yeah.
And I totally get it. And they're trying to,
I do too.
They're dealing with $200 million budgets, and I get it. But you still don't see the film maker as an artist.
Yeah.
And if you're hiring that artist to make art, and they don't see it that way,
No.
then let him make his art. Why a film has to be made by committee doesn't work, and it's proved time and time again.
No. And I think this will go on forever. I don't think this will ever be resolved. I really don't.
It won't.
I don't,
Only the smaller companies that are dealing with lesser money let that happen because of the risk is lower.
Sure.
But then you look at the Russo brothers that made, one of the biggest movies of all time. They had free reign only because they proved themselves.
Right.
Spielberg has free reign only because
he proved himself
and made billions of dollars for everybody. So he's like, if they make his risk.
If he makes if he makes a little flop here or there, no big deal. He's Steven Spielberg. I get it.
But I've always seen it that you should let the film. If you're going to hire a filmmaker to make a movie, let him make his movie.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, don't hire him.
Right.
You sit there.
Otherwise, it really shows that you don't have a lot of trust and faith in this person.
Exactly. So why are you hiring him?
Why are you hiring them then if you don't trust them?
Right.
If you don't think he can do the job, then don't hire somebody else.
The problem is that you have all these executives that are so afraid of losing their job that they're trying everything they can to make sure that this movie is going to be successful.
Yeah.
You're missing the point, pal.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I know.
Let them make their movie.
I know.
And let your marketing department sell it. But let them make their movie. No one's going to blame the filmmaker for making. They will if it's a bad movie.
Right. And then it reflects bad on, of course,
So obviously, if he makes a bad movie, of course, they're losing money and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I've seen really great movies that didn't make any money,
Sure.
So it's all, you don't know. You don't know what's going to be a hit. You don't know what's going to hit an audience. It might have just been timing. Halloween could have just came out at the right time, and it did.
Sure, and it did.
There's a whole bunch of different factors, but it still comes to me as a filmmaker. That's the biggest frustration I could see with Hollywood is that, they're so concerned about risk that they sometimes destroy the film.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They sabotage it. Yeah.
Justice League is a perfect example of that. But that's a whole another thing. But
that's another, yeah.
But
I know.
I don't know. Yeah. That's just my 2 cents.
No, and I agree. And I
let the artists do their thing. That's all I say.
Yeah. And to me, again, I don't need gratuitous, gore. I don't need, I don't
have a problem with it. If it works in the film, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, if it serves the film, that's one thing. But if you're just throwing for shock value and let's see how much money we get,
There's a movie called Bad Taste.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
Probably one of the goriest films I've ever seen. Is the most funniest film I've ever seen in my life. Oh
yeah.
My God,
were they going for funny or were they going for scary?
They were going for funny.
Okay.
But that's, I can't think of his name, but he did Lord of the Rings.
Peter Jackson?
Peter Jackson. It's one of his first films.
Oh, that's right. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah.
And then he made another one that was really gory, too, before he got into making regular mainstream movies.
Okay.
But Bad Taste is really gory. But I enjoy that film because it's just making fun of everything, and Peter Jackson himself is in the film. He's one of the leading actors.
Oh, my God.
He's wearing glasses, and the consistent running gag in the film is that every time somebody gets killed, a drop of blood will hit his glasses.
Oh, my God.
That's hilarious, man. If you ever get a chance to see it.
I've heard of it. Okay.
Enjoy it. It's funny.
Okay.
It's funny.
Yeah, and everything has its place. And like I say, I'm not trying to trash, gory movies or anything. It's fine.
I love Dario Argento. I love all his movies, and they're gory.
Great.
And I don't have a problem with it. But
not at all.
The movies that are just gore for the sake of gore, and I know there's audiences for them, and hey, more power to you, man. If that's what you want to watch, hey,
right,
more power. I just personally don't like them. I'm not going to put anybody down for it because I respect people's opinions and I respect.
Sure.
I'm not going to try to censor somebody.
No.
And that's another thing. Don't try to censor me from watching something I want to watch.
Right.
If you don't want to watch it, no one's forcing you to watch it.
Right. And everybody has their tastes and what they like, and I get that. But I'm just very partial to this kind of film.
Yeah, me too. And so that's why I say, it's like we give our opinions and you take it, the way you want.
Absolutely.
That's all it is, man.
That's all it is. Yeah.
But we love this. We love this film very much.
Oh.
I love this film. And like I said, I watch this movie every Halloween.
I do too. Every year I do.
I don't know. I've seen the movie. I can't tell you how many times, and I still can't get sick of it. I'm not sick of it.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
I've seen it many times, and I never get tired of it.
Like frame for frame.
I know. I know. And
I'm never sick of it.
It's so well done that I just, I'm that way with Night of the Living Dead too, and I don't mean to backtrack, but
I understand.
I love that film so much that if it's on or if I can just put it on and I enjoy it like the first time I've seen it, and I know what happens, and I don't care. It's so good. Oh my God. So, and that's obviously, that's something to be said for that too, because we all have our favorite films. I know that, but if you can keep watching a film over and over, and you know what's going to happen, but it's still entertaining and still,
and that's why it's part of. I think that's why it's part of our list of, top 10 greatest horror films of all time.
Oh yeah,
along with Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
And that's that's the argument for it is that. And everything else that we talked about. So.
Great film. I'm sure everybody that's listening has seen it. If you haven't, please watch.
In a hole their entire life and been sheltered
I
from...
can't imagine there isn't anybody out there that hasn't. But if you haven't,
or
no offense, I'm not trying to come down on you, but
there
please
could be somebody that just
film.
turned 17 and their parents are letting them watch R-rated movies, and hey, maybe they haven't seen the film.
Now that's another thing that could be another podcast. We could it's up to you, but the kids today, what they find scary.
Okay, that's I like that.
And when and then you try to show them some of these classic films, and I'll even throw in the original Dracula, the original, we can do the Universal monster movies. How they respond to these. And I got to tell you, when I showed, and they're not horror buffs, but when I showed my stepkids Night, they kind of like, okay, Donnie, they call me Donnie, that's fine. It's just, I think it's a different time. Not to say that some kids today couldn't, enjoy it and see, the creativeness and, how good of a film it is, and can appreciate, that's the word I was thinking of, can appreciate, all the things we just talked about. But I don't know if you'd have to be a film buff or, into films and
I think the problem is that they just are not, I don't want to say programmed, but they need to be open-minded, Look past all these, it's black and white. It was made in 1940.
It was like made 50 years ago.
The acting isn't as good as it is today because they're basing all their, film stuff that they've seen off of, Marvel films that are like slick and fast paced and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly, Rob. Exactly.
They're used to that. And I get it. I understand that.
I do too. And I'm not trying to fault them because that's what they know.
But
so now you try to show them something like this and it's almost like they're going backwards.
When I was in film school and I took film history, and you have to look at other films as a filmmaker. And see how they progressed and how things were made. A perfect example is the Odessa Steppes sequence. It's a Russian film called Battleship Potemkin. And it was the first use of montage editing. And in the film The Untouchables, directed by Brian De Palma,
great film.
He has a scene in there that's taken pretty much from that film, where the baby carriage is going down the stairs and there's a gunfight.
I remember.
There's a gunfight. That's based off of that sequence from that film. And I had no interest to see Battleship Potemkin, but wow. I mean, this movie was made, I want to say in the 20s or 30s.
Wow.
And it's silent, and you see this.
Oh my God, Rob! Wow.
You see this sequence in the film, and it's like here they created suspense through editing, and it was like the first time they did that.
Sure.
And
oh yeah,
I don't know, man. It really makes you appreciate what you see today, because all these filmmakers that are making these slick movies are basing stuff off of what they saw and the film history of it. Yeah. But you have to look at everything, and you have to be open-minded, and that's all I'm saying. You know?
I totally agree. If they can have an open mind,
if you have an open mind, you'd be open up to a whole new thing, man. I mean, you'd look at Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein,
all that,
Nosferatu, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I mean, it's just.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Come on, man.
Sure.
You know. Rosemary's Baby. I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean,
Exorcist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could go on forever, but
we could definitely. Yeah, I didn't mean to open up a whole Pandora's box, but
yeah, I'm just saying, like, you just need to have an open mind. That's all. That's all. Yeah. That's the bottom line of it.
Oh yeah, I agree. So
on that note,
all right. We probably are over time here. I don't know how long we get to talking. And
on that note, we've come to the end of another horror vein, folks.
Yes, we have.
We hope you had fun with this special edition of Halloween.
Hope you enjoyed it.
As always, we thank you for listening. We would appreciate it if you would go to Apple Podcast and leave us a review. It helps us out, folks. It really does.
Or ask a question. They can ask questions too, right?
Yeah, go to horrorvein.com. Check out our website. We have, horror news on there. You can check out all our podcasts. And you can leave us a note. And we might possibly read it on air.
We might do that.
Holy cow. And we can put all these funny things in there, and we can talk like this.
Yes. More of Rob's fun toy next week. What sounds will you hear next week? You'll have to tune in and find out. Oh my God!
Yes.
Yeah. So, that'll be the running theme. What new sound? I'm sure you get like 1,500 sounds on there. So.
And on that note, folks.
Yes, it's time to go.
Thank you for listening. And
thanks, guys.
As always, we love you here at Horror Vein.
We do. Talk to you. See you next time.
So we'll see you next week, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You are listening to the Fear Film Studios Podcast Network.